Hey now, ladies and gentlemen. Hey now. Welcome to hour number 2 of a very weird edition of The Line. Talk 995, talk995.com. I don't listen. When I wake up in the morning, all right, I promise y'all, the first thing I do is, well, first of all, I talk to God first thing in the morning. The second thing I do is I start looking through the news, okay? And I look through very serious issues. What's going on in the world? What's going on in the Middle East? What's going on here at home domestically? What's the economy? I look at all of it, okay? That's what I do. I don't prepare for the show with a research on casket repo or pooping your pants at McDonald's or any of that. All of this that happens, everything that happened last hour was not on my agenda when I walked in the door today, okay? So I just want everybody to know that any of the stuff on the show that happens like that, when we get squirreled down a road of just random bullish, that it's not my intention. I'm not opposed to
So you're
it.
legally covering your bases, right?
Yeah, I'm saying that it's not. I don't plan that. Like, that's not what I'm trying. I don't plan that out. That's not part of my show prep.
No, I mean it's just the natural evolution of things.
Yeah. Whatever it is, it's not what I'm putting on the agenda. So y'all just know that. As I'm trying to set up our TikTok, but I've got to get us I got to get our microphone set up, or we don't have to. Well, yeah, I guess we do need to set up the microphones. I'll just get it started, and then I'll wait till the break, and then I'll do it. I'll start the TikTok after the break. 205-545-9950 will get you in. Chuck Davis bringing you this part of the show. If you find yourself in a legal conundrum because you've been charged with the abuse of a corpse, you might want to get an attorney. And I don't know that Chuck Davis handles corpse abuse cases, but he's got a network of the best attorneys out there that'll get you set on track. He does handle things like divorce and custody, wills, probate, contracts, personal injury. You'll know all that. But really, anything that you got that requires an attorney, I want you to hit him up and tell him what you got going on. Give him the story, give him the spiel, and say, hey, this is what happened. This is what I need. This is what I'm trying to accomplish. And he'll either get you there or he'll send you in the right direction. But Chuck Davis is the best, man, and he's been my attorney for a while. He's been Richard Dixon's attorney for even longer than that, but he's also somebody we consider a friend and know that he's going to help you out if you give him a call. Just make sure you mention you're part of the Hey Now Nation, that you heard it on The Line with Andrew Mclain, and get yourself hooked up. That's Chuck Davis, 205-823-9992. That's 205-823-9992. And online, chuckdavislaw.com. No representation is made that the legal services provided are superior to the legal services provided by other lawyers. I'm going to have to open the studio door because it's hot as Hades in here.
Yeah, I mean I was sweating as soon as I came in, so I've opened the door. We got to get that figured out.
We're not able to do it. I'm not even allowed to touch the thermostat in here, but I don't know. I think it's because the thermostat doesn't make a difference.
Yeah. Well, I'm not even allowed to look in Crank's eyes now. I have to keep my eyes down.
That's true, because Jumper no longer has a key into the building since he lost his keys, and the person he's got to get a new key from is Crank.
Yeah.
And he's scared to go ask it. Why don't you send an email? Or do you want me to send an email?
No.
No?
If I send an email, I know what his response will be. What have you done? See me immediately. So I'm just going to walk in there and say, hey, Frank, how's it going? He's going, hey.
But I'm saying if I send the email, maybe he just drops it off with you, and then you have limited interaction.
Or maybe he comes by and say, are you not a big boy? Can't you come to me? I'm not going to give you a thing unless you ask for it. Ask for it. Beg.
Get on your knees and beg.
Yeah. So, you know, you do what you got to do.
Yeah, it is, man. It's just the way it is, man. It's just the way it is. All right, a couple things from yesterday. Donald Trump, and remember when he was out was he in the Rose Garden yesterday talking to a group? I don't remember what the group was. He's done so many events over the past week. He was talking to the National Police Week. He had the people out there for National Police Week, and he was speaking about a range of topics, including the future direction of the Republican Party in 2008. And it's something that we've all talked about many times over, like what's life like after Trump? And he decided to test the waters in real time. He asked the crowd who likes J.D. Vance and had them cheer, and they were like, yay! And then he was like, who likes Marco Rubio? And they're like, yay! But it wasn't as loud for Marco. And he said, sounds like a good ticket. He said, that was a perfect ticket. By the way, I do believe that's a dream team, but these are minor details. That does not mean you have my endorsement under any circumstance. But he knows that J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio, in no particular order, would be the dream ticket. And I think that's right. I think that is the dream ticket. And who do you put as president and who do you put as vice president is the question. Because Marco Rubio's been looking strong as of late. And there's a lot of people clamoring for Marco to be the nominee. But then you've got J.D. Vance, who's, working directly under Trump, under his wing. He's also a very charismatic individual. And so...
And you have to remember that it doesn't look like the vice president does a lot compared to the other cabinet members. But, I mean, they do.
It's really, honestly, what the vice president does is up to the president. The president directs the vice president on what to do. He says, I'm going to assign you to this, that, and the other. And so J.D. Vance has done much more than previous vice presidents because Donald Trump is a workaholic. Kamala Harris didn't do squat.
No.
Joe Biden
didn't do anything.
He didn't do squat under Barack Obama.
They gave him little tasks to do.
Yeah. Like, don't poop your pants today. So vice presidents usually don't hold a lot of power unless there is power given to them by the president of the United States. And that has been the case for J.D. Vance. So it's allowed him to acquire experience. And then for Marco Rubio, in his role, he has been garnering an incredible amount of foreign policy experience. So if you've got J.D. Vance dealing with things at home and Marco Rubio handling foreign policy, you could have, even if you put Vance as president and Marco as the running mate, assuming those two like each other, you could, in fact, have a dream team. And hopefully those two do like each other, because I think that'd be a pretty daggum good ticket.
And if it was the other way around, wouldn't that make Marco Rubio the first Hispanic?
I guess.
Doesn't he have Hispanic blood?
Yeah, I guess it would. They said
Barack Obama, although he's not.
Yeah, so we don't count. We count halfsies as holes, apparently. Because Barack Obama was the first black president, Barack Obama. Also yesterday, remember Trump had moms in the Oval Office. We took a little bit of that when he was answering questions from the press. What he was doing was announcing a new website called moms.gov, which is going to provide resources for new and expecting mothers. It says on Mother's Day, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services launched moms.gov, a groundbreaking website for new and expecting mothers. It is the first of its kind resource, offers guidance and information to support the health and well-being of mothers and their families. Moms.gov also supports expecting parents who are navigating difficult or unexpected pregnancies. It features information about pregnancy centers, federally qualified health centers, nutritional guidance, Trump accounts, which is the money for the babies, and other resources that allow maternal and infant health to thrive. That's genius. And it's also highlighting the stark contrast between Republicans and Democrats. Because if there was a moms.gov that was put together under, say, a Kamala Harris administration, it would have been a map of all the Planned Parenthoods around to go abort your baby.
Yeah.
But instead of what Democrats would want you to do is, oh, your baby's an inconvenience, this was unplanned, go kill your baby. The Trump administration is saying, hey, let's set up a website that gives you all the tools, all the information, all the guidance, all the assistance you need to be able to navigate this time in your life, which is what we should be doing when it comes to people getting pregnant, young people getting pregnant. Be there to support them. Don't tell them to go kill a baby, which will then stick with them for the rest of their lives. They'll always have to think about that. Instead of doing that to them, why don't you help them? Murder seems like a weird route to take, if you ask me. But that's the Democrats. That's what they like to do. They like to murder babies. That's just their thing. And then also on top of that, Donald Trump puts out last night, this tweet about home ownership. And this is huge, by the way. He says, as I said at my State of the Union address on February 25th, the American dream of home ownership is under attack. For example, Rachel Wiggins, a mom of two from Houston, placed bids on 20 homes and lost all of those bids to gigantic investment firms that bypassed inspection, paid all cash, and turned those houses into rentals, stealing away her American dream. She was devastated. Stories like this are why I signed an executive order to ban large Wall Street investment firms from buying up single-family homes. Also, in my speech, I called for Congress to save the American dream of home ownership and ban these purchases permanently. Senators Bernie Moreno and Tim Scott have worked to ensure my call becomes a reality and have a bill which has passed the Senate with nearly 90 votes. I'm asking Congress to pass that bill, the 21st Century Road to Housing Act, which would ensure that homes are for people, not corporations. Thank you for your attention to this matter. That is absolutely enormous. That is enormous.
I mean, and that helps everybody. It helps African Americans. It helps Hispanics. I mean, it helps everybody.
Mm-hmm. And it helps everybody across the board, because one of the biggest hurdles people have been facing, you hear young people today saying, "Oh, I can't afford a house," and it's because housing prices have skyrocketed, and a part of that's going to be because of these corporations going in and buying up homes and turning them into rentals, because that's what they want. They want everybody renting for the rest of their life. They don't want people owning homes. I mean, that is your biggest investment, especially in the early part of your life. I mean, that is equity, that an investment that you can have on your name that means something, that actually generates wealth for you, and it's being taken away from so many people. And Trump understands that, so he's saying, all right, we're going to put a stop to this, and we're going to allow families to start buying these homes and owning homes. Home ownership is the epitome of the American dream, and that has been stolen from so many people. It's been stolen from almost everybody in this country if you didn't get in quick enough. So that's huge, not just for individuals on a level of being able to become a homeowner, but for the economy itself, it's it's great, and it provides financial security for people long term. Well, later in their life, for their kids, for their grandkids, and things like this. You think about like your dad and his ability, foresight to make sure to own a home and then be able
Mm-hmm.
to pass that down to kids and grandkids and everything else. Like it's important for not just you, but your kids, your grandkids, and everybody going forward to be able to own those things. But as you know, the famous quote, "You will own nothing and be happy." That's what they want. They want you to own nothing. They want everything to be borrowed. They want everything to be in a way that it can be taken away from you at any time, no matter if you're paying your rent or not. And so Trump's trying to stop that. All right, let's keep moving. 205 545 9950. More of the line coming up. Okay, so we got a text. I'm not listening. I'm not trying to drag this out,
Oh no.
but we got a text that Grok says casket repo is a real thing. Grok says the AI from X. This is Elon's AI, which I take their word at it. Okay, it says yes, casket repo or coffin repossession is a real thing, though it's niche, uncommon, and often tied to specific practices in the funeral industry. Says it involves funeral homes sometimes offer rental caskets for viewing or services, especially when families opt for cremation afterwards. These are typically higher end caskets with removable interiors or liners. The family rents the outer shell for the ceremony, and the funeral home reclaims it afterwards for reuse or resell if payments aren't made, or in rare disputes, repossession can occur sometimes even after burial, leading to headlines or investigations. Okay, so
It's real.
it's real, and I think it goes to the fact that it's just, small town, nobody's really watching kind of stuff. Um, it says there are businesses that explicitly offer casket repossession alongside body transport. Like Corpse Be Gone mentions
Corpse be gone.
Corpse Be Gone. Corpse Be Gone mentions it as part of their services. There's Corpse Be Gone is the name of hold on. Corpse Be Gone. I'm gonna see if this is a let's see. Corpse Be Gone typically refers to a popular utility mods. Oh no, that's something else. This is saying Corpse Be Gone is a let me click the link. Yeah, corpsebegone.com.
Catchy name.
It's just it says media and pop culture. Through 2009 short film called Extreme Repo follows a casket repo man as part of its premise. So there's actually a show that followed a casket repo man. It says news stories and discussions reference cases of funeral homes or repo agents attempting to recover unpaid caskets, sometimes from grave sites. Some are serious, others satirical or viral anecdotes. It says it's not as common as car repossessions, but it fits into the broader world of asset recovery for unpaid funeral goods / equipment. Rental caskets are a legitimate legal cost saving option for many places. In short, it says it's not a widespread everyday occurrence or myth, but a real, if darkly comedic, practice in parts of the funeral and repo industries.
Dang.
So I guess it's real, dude.
I better do some thinking before I go out on that.
And I'm looking at the Corpse Be Gone website. Look at the screen. This is the Corpse Be Gone website.
No, that's not real.
That's 100% real.
A motorcycle.
Homeboy's got a motorcycle with a cooler attached to it. Oh, that's wild.
Long night of digging.
I wonder if we can get in touch with the owner of this website and see if we can have him on the show.
Ooh.
I think that would be good. Okay. Jason says, yeah, it's definitely a thing. I've been a repossession agent for 20 years, and I've actually turned down several jobs because of all the red tape that has to be gone through. So is he saying that the tag casket thing is a real thing?
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
I mean, I'm honestly I'm convinced now, which kind of eliminates the need to send you with Dixter, but I kind of still want to do it for the content. So we'll well, Jumpbird's taking his we're on TikTok and Jumpbird's taking his phone with him to go get some water. It's quite the sight. If you want to see it, at the Andrew Mclain on TikTok. Let's see. Don says, I drove through Brett Bessemer yesterday. I noticed a sign on a wheel store. You can lease up to $4,000 in wheels without a credit check. They don't want us to own anything, I guess. You mean wheels like in rims? To lease up to $4,000 worth of rims for your car? Yeah, man. They're gonna do anything they can to just, they're targeting people that don't have the money to buy it outright. It's much like many of these other places that are like, yeah, it's just an easy payment of $50 per month or $100 per month or 200 whatever it is. Like, just rent it and you can afford it. And people are like, well, I really do want that, and I can afford that per month. And then they do it, and then they get in over their head, and then repossession happens, and everybody makes money at that point, right? The repo man makes money. The company that rented it out makes money because they got you to pay for it for a little bit, and now they get to rent it out again.
I think the dead person is the one that loses out.
Yeah, well, in the casket case, yeah, the person.
Oh, you're not talking about caskets anymore. I'm sorry.
I moved on to rims. But it's
I'm sorry.
it's you're right though. I mean, the dead person does lose out on that. So anyway, we'll keep you updated on the casket repo gimmick. TCW Construction bringing you this part of the show. TCW out there doing projects, and you don't ever have to worry about Trent coming out there and repossessing your patio or your retaining wall or anything like that, because once it's done, it's done. It's taken care of, man, and it's now your property. And some of the stuff he does, it's not just to beautify your home or add that extra whatever it is that you want, that extra walkway or garden, borders or whatever it is. It adds value to your house. It really does. I mean, there's people that want to add, these layouts with fire pits and kitchen stations, or they want to do waterfall setups, or whatever. The options are endless. If it's outdoors, if it's outside of your home or your business or your rental or whatever, Trent and his guys can get it done, man. They've been doing this for a long time, and there's a lot of people in that industry that just get out there and they'll either charge you too much, or they won't do the job right, or they won't finish the job. It's happened to many people. And Trent will tell you that. Trent's had to go up and clean up after other companies that didn't do the job right. Trent gets it done right the first time, gets you exactly what you want, and you don't ever have to worry about it again. So call him up. Make sure you let him know I sent you. He'll be the guy you talk to. He'll be the guy you deal with on the job site, and he'll be the guy you deal with at the end. He is everything, man. It's his company. He oversees it from top to bottom, and that's how you know you're going to be taken care of. 205-389-3536. That's 205-389-3536. Find all of his stuff online. TCWConstructionCo.com. TCWConstructionCo.com. Rusty says, I once worked for a company called Graves Service. It was drilling services. Someone asked what we did, and one of our guys said that we repo caskets. Their eyes bugged out, and they backed away. I mean, it is a pretty shocking. It's a pretty shocking industry. I'll give you that.
Well, I mean, what's shocking to me is that it's an industry. There are probably people out there competing in the open market for how, well, this guy said, 5,000, forget that. I'll do it for 3,500.
Right.
And I'll make the body go away.
Rick is in McCall. Rick, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, ain't nothing sacred anymore nowadays. They're putting these highways through these 4 lanes, and they're fixing to run over a bunch of graves out here at Bryce Hospital in Tuscaloosa County.
Mm-hmm. Oh, are they?
Yeah, it's over here at Bryce Hospital.
Huh. Yeah, I hadn't seen that.
Well, it's sad. It's what do you call it? Desecration of a grave.
Oh, they're running it through cemeteries, you're saying. Grave sites.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I got
Yes,
you.
sir.
Yeah, that's not right.
Thanks for taking my call. I guess it's nothing sacred, God's word or nothing else anymore, is it?
That's right. You got that right. All right, Rick, I appreciate it, bub. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. Is it like ancient burial land or what?
Yeah, I mean, if it's not, usually they will relocate the graves and they will take care of the costs.
I mean, I know a guy that can do it. I know a guy that can get them moved.
You know a guy that's got a trainee.
Yeah. I know a guy. I also know a website, corpsebegone.com.
That's right. Gosh, man.
And he'll do it with a motorcycle. Okay, let's keep going here as this show's been railroaded. The Supreme Court yesterday afternoon, as a matter of fact, ruling on Alabama. We weren't really sure whether or not the Supreme Court was going to rule in time for Alabama to revert their maps back to what they once were, or what they tried to do, which was cut down the Democrat districts from 2 to 1, and then the court ruled, oh, well, Alabama's got to keep it this way, because of minority power or whatever the ruling was. And then with this latest ruling with Louisiana, it completely overturns that. Now, that's just what happens in court world. Whatever the latest ruling is, if it contradicts a previous ruling, it overrules that ruling. Now, you can take that case back to the courts and get them to clarify on that particular issue, but it will a lot of times turn out like this one did. The Supreme Court heard the case about Alabama going back to their proposed district, which was only 1 Democrat seat instead of 2, and the Supreme Court agreed that, yes, you can go back to that map where you're only giving 1 Democrat seat. So it's back to a Republican +1. I guess that would be a 6-to-1 map. I think there's 7. We said there's 7 districts in Alabama. So is it a 6-to-1 map in Alabama? And Sonia Sotomayor was fuming over this ruling. So let me break this down for you. So they issued the decision in a 6-to-3 vote. It was the 3 liberal justices, Sotomayor, Elena Kagan, and Jackson, Ketanji Brown Jackson, dissenting. Sotomayor gave her dissent, saying, "The court today unceremoniously discards the district court's meticulously documented and supported discriminatory intent finding and careful remedial order without any sound basis for doing so, and without regard for the confusion that will surely ensue. As with all vacators of this kind from this court, the district court remains free on remand to decide for itself whether Calais has any bearing on its 14th Amendment analysis, or if its prior reasoning is unaffected by that decision. It seems like a bunch of yan to me, but she's very angry. Trust me, she's angry. And that's what's happening here, as you know, as we've seen over the past few days with the Louisiana ruling, these cases or these states that have been up in the air, they say, okay, we're going back to our old maps or we're adjusting our current map in order to reflect our state's will. And then you'll have the opposition file a lawsuit. It makes its way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court will ultimately decide, yes, they can do that because we literally just decided this on the Louisiana case. Now, Virginia Democrats are so angry with all of this, they have plotted to pack the Supreme Court, their state Supreme Court, by lowering the retirement age to 54 years old, and that would force all of their justices out, which would give them the ability to then handpick the entire Supreme Court in Virginia. That's how Democrats play ball, by the way. They just completely throw out the rule book and do whatever they want to do. I want to talk about that when we get back. 205-545-9950, the line, Talk 895. So as we know, the Spanberger, this new governor of Virginia, is a former CIA agent. So it should be no surprise that they're just trying to, they feel like they can do, she feels like she can do anything she wants to do, whether that's wiping out the Virginia State Supreme Court, and she doesn't get her way. She just changes the rules. It's really what they tried to do in the redistricting in the first place. They tried to add an amendment that didn't make any sense to the ballot, get people to vote on it. We're just making our elections fair. And then completely running Republican representatives out of the state, which has happened in many other states. By the way, this is Democrats losing at their own game, which is what I've always said. For you guys that have been listening to the show for any length of time, you know I have always said you have to fight fire with fire. You can't play, you can't go up against these people playing by the rules. You just can't. You got to beat them at their own game. And Republicans are finally doing that. Instead of being scared of like, oh, we want to be fair. We want to be able to give you your fair representation. No, screw that. They're not going to give you your fair representation. So run them out. If the opportunity presents itself, run them out of your state. Every last one of them. Every last one of them. And so that's what they're doing. It's what they're doing in Alabama. Not all of them, but they're running out half of them. Alabama, Tennessee's doing it. They're in Tennessee. They're running out the Democrat representative that they're running out of Tennessee. Their one Democrat rep is a white Jewish guy, right? And he's a Democrat, but he's a white Jewish guy, and he's obnoxious, is what he is. He will be losing his seat. You know, he's going to lose who he's going to lose his seat to, since this is a big racial issue, and the black coalition and the black Democrats in the Tennessee State House are all up in arms, and they're going to churches and they're preaching about racism and civil rights and all this kind of. Guess who's going to replace the white Jewish Democrat with the redistricting? Guess who the Republican is? It's going to replace the white Democrat. It's going to be a black lady. Ironically enough, the Democrat seat that they're losing, that's being held by a white guy, is going to be replaced by a black lady. Yet they're telling you this is about race. Got it. Okay, buddy. And for them, politics is race. That's the disconnect. That's why we don't view politics as race. They do. There's no reason to tie politics to race. I don't view somebody else who's a different skin color as somebody who's got to vote a certain way. I don't care what your skin color is. You can vote any way you want. Democrats don't feel that way. If you're black, you got to vote Democrat. That's the way they view it. And that's the way they're trying to draw the maps, and that's why it got shot down. You can't draw the maps based on color. That's all the Supreme Court's saying. And so anyway, Virginia's not getting their way, so they want to wipe out their entire Supreme Court. This has been a complete humiliation for not just Democrats in Virginia, but Democrats in Washington, D.C. This is all about the House of Representatives, by the way. So who was leading the charge on this? Well, it'd be the top dog for Democrats in the House. That's Hakeem Jeffries. This is an utter humiliation for Hakeem Jeffries, because just in Virginia, they burned through $70 million. $10 million of it was taxpayer money, and $60 million of it was campaign funds. They literally burned through $60 million in campaign funds only to end up with egg on their face. And once they got caught flat-footed, they were in such a panic to get this reversed. So after the Louisiana ruling, the Virginia Democrats and their Attorney General, Jay Jones, took an appeal to the Supreme Court to say, hey, I know you just ruled on this, or I know our Supreme Court just ruled on this and said we can't do this, but we're now bringing it to you as an appeal and asking you to reverse our state court's previous decision. And in his panic to file with the Supreme Court to reinstate the 10 Democrat to 1 Republican gerrymander, he appealed to the wrong court in his documents. He filed the paperwork with the Supreme Court with, at the top of the documents, it said, to the Supreme Court of Virginia. He didn't even address the right court. And their last filing also had a ton of spelling errors. Their filing with the Virginia Supreme Court had a bunch of spelling errors that made it look like some fifth grader put it together. So they're rushed, they're panicked, they're incompetent, and they've lost. They've lost this entire battle. And it couldn't happen to a better bunch of people. I mean, it's fantastic. It has given Republicans an advantage going into November that I don't know that I could have even dreamed of. Because we had plenty to worry about. One is the tradition of whoever holds the White House and Congress, the other side's going to win. Or it's mostly whoever's in charge in the White House, the other party wins Congress, right? That's traditionally what happens. So we had that working against us. Then we have the stuff going on in Iran. Even though Donald Trump is doing the right thing, our military is absolutely killing it, literally. The gas price issue is going to be an issue, and it's still going to be an issue. But it's not the only issue. There are so many other good things happening within the economy that I've been telling you guys about for weeks, where the Trump administration, Scott Bessent and others are laying the foundation for this thing to just take off like a rocket ship. And so it could and probably will, for a lot of people, outweigh the gas prices. I don't expect gas prices to look like they look now in November, but at the same time, I don't think gas prices are going to be as big of an issue as Democrats expect them to be. This is what they are currently hanging their hat on, and they're the type of people that will hang their hat on it all the way till November. Of course, you can hang your hat on it until you can't anymore, and then what do you got? They probably got nothing. They've got nothing to offer the American people. They've got no solutions. They've got no ideas. All they've got is a crystal ball in New York showing them what would happen to the country if they implemented their policies. It's called Zohran Mamdani. If you want to know what Democrats in charge looks like, just look to the Big Apple and you'll find out. It's as simple as that. So Democrats are in a really bad place right now.